Yo, we're live. This is right at the beginning of the tournament. This is the very first game to get started in this SGT bracket. It's a little shorter. And Yeti Peaks off to a strong start. This is what Rats was talking about if you were tuning in for the earlier stream. The much shorter GMT bracket. Very difficult to play this kind of game. You can step on a village, and if your opponent is in the right spot of the map, they kick you off. And Rats just called it game losing. Now, maybe we won't be so uh, quick to rush to a conclusion as to whether or not this truly is game losing, but it certainly does not look good here. Going to go ahead and switch over to Yeti Peak's perspective. And this is Tempest on Tempest again. This is the situation that Yeti had at the beginning of the last bracket as well, in the Yushinji mirror. We watched that game to its conclusion, and it was kind of brutal, to be honest. So after capturing, this is why we dance around with our warriors around there. This is why a lot of pro players will just refuse to step on a village unless they can properly defend it. In a case like this, they would have two other warriors or units to uh, dislodge an enemy's warrior or whatever unit they had standing on there. Now Yeti, evidently annoyed with the warrior around his territory, goes for those attacks real quickly. And the one health warrior can't really do much at this point. So it will take a while. He's going to burn some temp with the warriors, maybe, but he can heal to full if he wants to. Yeah, Rush is just giving him a little extra time by moving away. If he'd walked it back towards the capital, then Yeti actually loses. Like it takes him longer, like a couple extra turns to get to that village in the south with the 5 health warrior. This is just accelerating his goals right now. Yeti, of course, has no problems with this. Heals to full with the one warrior and gets some fantastic vision with the other. If you're a vision addict, it's probably a pretty instructive game right now. I'm sure Rush really wanted to get that vision, but it ended up not helping him at all. Kind of dangerous, the 5 health warrior on the mountain there. Any full health warrior is able to just one tap that. But instead of just running straight for the lighthouse and getting the vision yet, he buys archery and heals up in the north. Yeah, there's no warriors, there's no units around. We did see earlier Rush pick up some riders, so rider rush. Yeah, there's a capital siege here that Yeti could do. Decides not to go for it. Yeah, just playing a really solid game. Getting units. I mean, this one's definitely dead at this point, so now, and only now, does he go for that lighthouse. No possibility of saving it. It took a hit and gave him a really easy kill onto another one of Rush's units. Yeah, looks like an explorer here. Yeah, Yeti's dominated this map. He's getting his third city in the south compared to the two that Rush has. Rush, though, riders, and now a walled capital. So the early aggression with the archers may not work so well. Not maybe. Maybe I should, instead of saying that, phrase it that it may not be so effective immediately. Of course, the archers are also a long-term benefit to a game that's going to feature probably a lot of giants if it goes late. Picks up another kill. And realizes that the warrior is overburdened here. Got too many targets, overloaded. If he wants to kill the warrior, he'll team up with the rider to do it, which is exactly what happens. So that 3 health warrior is free to pick up all that vision over in the west. Now, ironically enough, it looks as if Yeti has every lighthouse except the one that should be easiest for him to grab over in the east. He's only a couple turns away from that, and as soon as he gets that lighthouse, he is able to put it on his capital, pick up a nice giant there. You're just getting a bunch of riders. Now that he has no contention in the middle of the map, he's just doubling his opponent's city count. Just picking up more and more riders. Um, Not more and more riders, more and more archers. It's just getting more and more difficult to put units anywhere without them getting immediately killed without dealing any kind of retaliation. Normally, you might caution against this, like, when's he going to pick up Smithery? But in a position like this where the giant's coming out as soon as this lighthouse is grabbed, or at least Yeti has the ability to do that, there's no problem. So where are we going to see this lighthouse pop up? Is it going to be on this city? Or not this lighthouse, this Eye of God. Yeah, straight on the capital for the giant. And then some more archers. Yeah, so the Smithery giant, I mean, this is a repeat of the start of the last tournament for Yeti. Tons of archers all over the map. Kind of a questionable Eye of God placement in the middle of that forge spot. Unless you wanted to put it on, yeah, the forge over the fruit. And in a place where if your opponent ever captures that second city, if it ever captures your capital, you're already out. So don't need to worry about that. But if they ever capture your second city there, they keep that forge. But yeah, a couple of giants, and Yeti does not even shoot the giants. He's more interested in killing all of the supporting units. He has lots of time to chip away at the giants, and he has lots of time to get his own. I mean, we've only been here playing for like 8 minutes. Uh, so psychologically, it kind of makes sense, why a player might not, think it's necessary to like, throw in the towel or resign yet. Probably was prepared for a longer game, a game that could go on for like 40 minutes maybe. But yeah, absolutely loving the position. Rush resigns. Early lead for Yeti Peaks yet again. Let's see if we can catch some of the early game. Dazo. All right. Yeah, players are deaf and perfect. So Ade has we're actually in a neat position. It's um, much more symmetrical, which in these Jin encounters very important. Well, I mean, less than symmetrical, it looks like it's absolutely dominating. We see, if we turn our attention over to Dazo's perspective, population growth is 25 stars as well. Plenty of stars to pick up something like Smithery or Org. lots of ways to get this first giant. But the big thing is that at the moment he's defending. And on a tiny map like this, uh, defending is much, much worse than attacking because units that really like being, you know, acting as a having buffers between them and your opponent's units, like these archers that we're going to see Dazo tech into. They don't really have as many good spots to go to. It's very difficult to train them. Yeah, so Dazo is unconcerned about not getting out his giant right now. He's eyeing up these two mountains in the east and west, which will get him not just the two population that he needs for the first giant on his capital, and a monument along with it at that, but they're also going to go ahead and pick up the God Monument. So giant on his capital as well as two monuments next turn. It's a little slow for sure. Like I mean, especially look at the opponent, Ave here. Uh,
He does have the option of stepping off the ruin to contest that village, but I'm not sure if he's gonna do it.
I don't see any reason he would do that. Like when there's a swordsman and warrior there. Yeah, it goes for the okay. And the ruin, much better than anything we're going to see in contesting that village, in my opinion, anyways. I think we needed to see another archer on that capital before the lighthouse is grabbed, but gonna go ahead and pick up that cap giant exactly as described. And the question is now, I mean, really, it's a question of technique. Like, how do we keep the giant off of there? And I think the answer is, forestry
Oh, and it looks
smithery.
like his opponent teched into archery too. You see that archer on capital and defense bonus.
Of course, of course. You can hear me. Yeah, you can hear me. But I want to see if Daza goes into forestry or smithery here in order to pick up the giant on Gubusha.
He does have two monuments, so he has a lot of options with what he can do. He wants with what he wants to do here.
Yeah, big problem is going to be the clock, which is kind of a recurring theme. He's got 30 seconds here, and he has a lot of clicks to make. Not the time to be thinking about this. Grab the animal, chop the forest, place the monument southwest. Grab a couple lumber huts. What am I seeing? He's trying to keep all of his forests, and he has no place for either a sawmill, neither a sawmill nor a forge in the coming turns. Kind of scary. Oh my goodness. The Shinshi game where they have swordsmen? Look at that veteran swordsman over in the southwest. It's over. But I want to see how Ave pushes here. And obviously, it's Ave's game. Just with them capturing this fourth village, like they've got forestry and smithery and archery. Daza is just down in that tech exchange. By waiting to set up his own giants, his economy was negatively impacted. Just hasn't had the high level cities for as long, not as much income, and I mean here it takes the form of I have smithery and you don't. On top of having the being advantaged in tax, uh, going to pick up this fourth village over in the southeast. So 4 villages against 3. There is a big red target on that center city Pobu. If Dazo can take advantage of that, because he was the player who started getting archers first. If he can if he can turn that into something, uh, there is play for him here. He's definitely in a worse spot, but it's also definitely not impossible for him to win. The big problem for him is definitely going to be figuring out what he needs to do with a minute on his clock. Okay. That's absolutely insane. We joined this game a little later into its development than the very beginning. But when Daza picked up that kill over in the west, we saw a little thing popping up advertising that that's the path to getting his killer monument. That is Daza's very first kill of this game. I'm not quite sure what happened before this, and I'm not quite sure I want to know. Yeah, Daza just has to advance his capital giant and train some more units. And I mean, it would be lovely to train some more units, but very worried about uh, yeah, losing his city over in the west. So this is in a kind of non-committal way. It could go to the center city. It could go to his west city that's being threatened. But the big thing is, with that giant staying on Kabusha, no unit's going to be trained there. And also, of course, no unit was going to be trained there, as if it just ends up dying all the same. There's a little bit of bait, I guess. That warrior on the Eye of God there. If Ave decides to kill it with the giant, it loses the defense bonus. But instead of not showing any signs of slowing down, just snapping up more animals and grabbing another giant from the center, reclaiming the lead in number of giants here. Yeah, Ave is not going to be tricked so easily into getting an easy kill on the warrior. Retreats a little bit. Says if you want to shoot me with your archers, you're going to have to take some more damage than that. You're going to have to get them into a compromising position. Daza really wants to go for Pobu, but with the giant on there, it's not really much of a target anymore. Very difficult to defend any of these cities. The western city, the giant's just going to get chipped away by these archers. Uh, the eastern city, not even the giants, but just these warriors of defense bonuses are already causing enough problems. But especially that giant that marched all the way from Ave's capital. Daza doesn't have an answer. Daza does have some stars, though. Enough stars to pick up a giant there with Smithery. It would be Smithery and Org. The clock, once again, Daza's greatest enemy. Getting really close to timing out every turn. And if you look, Daza's actually losing units, and as Daza's losing units and the position is getting harder and harder to play, um, the increment Dazo has to play each turn with is getting smaller and smaller, and Dazo's using the whole increment every turn. Perhaps there was some poly calculations going on here. Because after this siege, I'm not seeing the way that Dazo pushes. I mean, this seems like it's not a tricky uh, position to convert for Ave here. More archers in the back, swordsmen in the front, advance the giants in. Seems like there are no real problems. Dazo's gonna start coming up with some concrete solutions here for the giant problem. And I say giant problem, but I mean giant problems. to come up with a solution for the East City and the West City. The solution is to just chop everything and give up playing for the West City. I mean, with the first kill Daza got coming 2 turns ago, I don't imagine we're going to see any killer monument anytime soon. So those 3 chops, I mean, on top of that, just no spot to even place a monument in on the West City. Let alone the East City in the next turn. The Daza running out of time again. Got a ton of stars, but yeah, finishes the turn, recognizes the position is over, and resigns. Well, what a game. Ooh, Rats is playing. So the players have gotten pretty late into the position here. We're already on turn 18. And take a real close look. Doesn't seem like a position with a ton of like wild tactics or anything. Seems like one where Rats is definitely in the driver's seat. Up on city count. Up 2 giants to 1. Oh, 3 giants to 1. Sorry, I'm a little blind. One thing I'm seeing is that no riders for Rats, whereas Rats' opponent here, Arvin, the deep fried streamer, of course, does have roads. Sorry, I'll spare your eyes. So I'm wondering. I mean, the difficulty is turning those roads into anything. A couple bullet tournaments ago in the GMT bracket, we actually saw. Ooh, that's one thing you can do with roads. Get a nice level 7 market. Nice synergy with the forges. And after another forge southwest, it'll be max level even. Is he looking into Knights or Chivalry? What? Or is he just clicking on trade to tell us that he's bought trade? Not sure what Rats is trying to signal to us there. Yeah, it goes. The difference between the position that we saw in that very first game of the GMT bracket against Maeslampe and what we're seeing now is all of Rats' units are very well protected behind these giants. He's got the advantage in the initiative with them. And being able to just body block with swordsmen and giants means that the roads don't help when he's trying to circumvent zone of control. So he's not really gaining any of the benefits in mobility. Rats just continues. Like, he sees all this. He knows there's no archer. There's no knight, rather. So he's fine to just keep spamming these archers. Archers on every tile. Archers as far as the eye can see. Yeah, there we go. Another giant and a max level market. Wonder if we're going to see a level 4 market pop up northeast of that city. 5 stars in, 4 stars per turn out. I can't imagine that Witherman is hurting for stars so much. Did I witnessed that correctly. Was that spiritualism? Was a forest just placed down? Or maybe I'm just going loopy after too much. So we're going to see, yeah, and a repeat of certain motifs and themes throughout all of these Shin games, or converting your advantage with archers. We're not worried about the giants. They are slow and don't do anything to us. What we are worried about is an inability to keep producing more archers. Any units that could actually do any damage to our archers. So kill is the swordsman, kill is the warriors, and then secondarily, it gets concerned about dealing damage to the giant. Yeah, it picks up a nice sawmill spot, and then just grabs 2 more archers. I have to admit I was hoping a little bit to see a catapult pop up in this position, but alas. Ooh, border growth on that city, alright. I mean, that's tough. So yeah, the archers are the ones carrying the game. The giants protect the archers, and then the archers deal all the damage. You have to be, cautious around the giants, of course. If you let them do damage, they're scary. Like that. You can just go and pick up that kind of kill. It's a little satisfying to hear those the sounds of the bows and arrows pinging away. Something signaling a job well done. To whoever has a trash compactor going, or like the body. Your mic is on. Yeah, I'm wondering why. I mean, it was a hard fought game. It went on pretty late. It got to the point where we were seeing some markets. Maybe not markets that mattered for much, but markets nonetheless. What more is there to play for at this point? Not a single unit around this capital that can prevent any kind of siege. The 3 health giant can siege. The archer can siege. Everything works. We do see rats pick up that catapult. I'm happy. Oh yeah, yeah. Go for the disrespect, full siege. Go for the catapults. Thank you, rats, for playing out all of our fantasies. Okay, and the embassy, cool. Oh, he just allows the checkmate to happen. Rats doesn't care about picking up the northern city quite yet. Okay. Well played to rats. I think we've out of the 4 games that were happening round 1, we were able to catch 3 of them on the stream. Fantastic, wonderful. So rats should be playing in another game very soon. I think we'll stick around and watch him play that out.
That was something.
It's here. Rats. We'll be playing. Not a vouch out. Not a vouch out. Is not deafened. Sneaky, sneaky.
Hello, would you like me to help co-commentate Reds versus
Absolutely.
Naughty?
Now, what is? Why is this person named themselves in your likeness? Do you think?
I personally think that I'm just really cool and popular, and people want to be like me, which is fair.
Well, this person is going out of the way to show how they are not like you.
Have they? That's crazy.
They're saying not a vouch out, that they're not you.
Well, then they're gonna lose because I would personally win against Reds. So I think that in the case that not a vouch out loses, that means that I would have won. I think that makes sense.
Okay,
But
so
true.
if not a vouchful alt wins, that means that they are your alt, and we should ban the both of you.
No, not about if not a vouchful out loses and he's not like me, that means that
Well,
I would have
no, if they
won.
win,
If they win, then I don't know. The logic doesn't flow for me.
well, we're seeing that not a vouchful alt is the host Kiku. It looks like they're coming from the west here. Rats should be able
Personally,
to
I
kick
would
them
not.
off this village, no problem. You wouldn't have blundered a city like this, so.
I would not
Oh,
have
not the
opened the sellers.
west, in the south. Interesting. Oh goodness, the frame rate. Um. Oh, well. Did they decide that they could bonus and bullet?
Well, I guess that the discussion was not really for anything, huh?
It was to keep off the tedium. I was really looking forward to seeing Ratz's new brilliancies that he cooked up in game. But before he was able to play the game, he kind of did some exploration. Then all right. Well, who else is playing? Dazo's playing Rush. Looks like they're just adding each other right now. So, Vouch, you want to hop over with me?
Okay.
All players are deafened. We're only just getting started here. Looks like it's turn 6 here.
I'm looking from that perspective, and it looks like another challenge. No, it looks like he's doing really well.
Wait, what am I witnessing? This position is crazy. How did he get the two cities to be so completely separated? Yeah, regardless, it goes right back to Dazo immediately. I'm kind of looking at where Rush spawned in the south. I'm kind of questioning the wisdom of sending the rider to the ruin, warrior range. I thought perhaps there would be some other units up north that would, there would be a debate about, whether to unsiege. Like, the units would be overloaded, but looks as if Dazo's just given up the ruin. But still, rider roads, well set up, secured the center as well as this city up in the northeast. Might get sieged here, but it really seems as if there's not much of a problem there since he has the two warriors in range. Single road is all Dazo needs to deal with this. Taking some time, uh, thinking it through. Yeah, that works. Yeah, make sure you kill off that veteran one instead of letting it die next turn and getting yourself sieged with the 5 on there. My heart can't take much more of this. Solid. Um, oh, there's a question of whether it's better to just promote here or not. It's all really a gamble on how much you think Rush is able to, if he's able to siege again or not. And you can guarantee that you don't get sieged again there, and that you probably just win the game immediately by promoting. Safe bet, Daza goes for it. Yeah, it looks like Rush must have gotten some kind of population ruin. I'm not seeing how else you would end up with a level 3 capital with 3 population on top of it. Just that one lighthouse. So an unfortunate ruin to give up for sure. Yeah. New question technique: how to kill this warrior best? Well, these warriors are all kind of tickling Dazo. I just want to get warrior and then use his own rider. If so, where does he bounce it to? Could, ooh, yeah, just go straight for the village right now instead of using the road on the animal south of the village. Save those stars, train more units. I'm not really sure what more units he's training. Maybe a rider on his capital instead of just a warrior. Looks like he's eyeing up a conservative spot to place his warrior at. That goes all the way in. Yep, rider on capital. That's why he killed the way he did. Now he's waiting for a rush. Warrior's there. It's walked up. What's the next step? There's no next step. It was all some kind of trick. Now, it doesn't have enough stars for crazy free road play to get that 5-hope rider back into the game, killing the warrior there, and then trying to siege cap with the uh, capital warrior, capital rider, and another warrior. Yeah, Daza is just eyeing up all these villages, kind of greedily. He goes ahead, picks up that east lighthouse now, so you can go ahead, connect, get 5 stars back. Yeah, I was wondering where's best to connect. And this is all taking time. Daza's newer to the game than a lot of the established players in Bullet, but it's a fierce calculator who thinks something new. Still working on building his intuition, but he gets some nice wins in games by uh, the nice planning, which is, I mean, just required to learn the game. So Rush, yeah, going for the giant now. I wonder why Rush never captured that village over in the west. There was a rider on it earlier. Just running after lighthouses? I'm not really sure. That's not Unap. So like some kind of ruin? I feel like I was missing something. I'm not really sure what's going on. But yeah, there is a giant on that capital. Very scary for Dazo. Dazo doesn't have a lot of units around to deal with it. Or not units, but even just like I mean, like any of the counters that you would usually see. No archers, no giants of his own. But it's looking like he should be perfectly fine to go ahead pick up his capital giant and then turn that into something. I mean, right now he's very close to Grand Bazaar on a tiny map. Was he going to go for an explorer on this city? Does he just want some extra stars in the workshop? Just for the explorer. Yeah. This is why probably workshop would have been stronger. I mean, just pick up those explorers the very next turn. Workshop in the center, explorer on the north city first. So it goes heads west, then on the other city. Have an extra star to get all the upgrades with. Still, the giant is very slow. Moving a single tile at a time, Daza's got a few turns, and with the ability to giant push. No sweat off his back if he does end up getting sieged in the center city. With a couple of monuments and forestry, he will be a-okay. He's looking at, hey, I can siege his capital. I just gotta place one road down, or sorry, 2 roads down to get the rider in range. So with an income of 11 stars, that is pretty expensive. But looks like Rush doesn't really have any other units around, so would have to unsiege with his giant here. Yeah, goes after this kill. Siege on the capital, and I'm sure, surely we see workshop here. Yeah. So Rush, I'm not seeing a way that he does it. No, yep. I didn't think that he would have so much population. I mean, all the same, really. Well, population ruin. Yeah, just go ahead and pick up your Grand Bazaar by placing those other two roads, and immediately that population is enough to get a capital on Giant. Some hesitation, maybe.
I do wonder whether Rush could just go towards the other villages, ignoring the capital, and try to get a foothold back into the game. Because other than the capital giant, he's not gonna have much
He's got
ways
enough
to
with
deal with
monuments. Like, he has time to just buy forestry, get like a center city
it.
giant. Then if he tries to like push for the west city, like, I mean, one, he's got if he goes forestry and then has time even for like math, like a Cooley giant with no monuments, very possible. And even if he isn't, it isn't possible. He'll certainly have time to get forestry, chop all the forests, um, and then play a game like 5 cities against two.
You keep saying that he has time, and I get that he has turn times, but once again, he's running down the clock real fast.
Yeah. I mean, if anything's going to happen to Dazo in this game, it's going to be because of that uh, real clock.
It's a move. I guess it's fine because he can't hit and stay on the capital anyway. Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as the lighthouse pops up. I mean, the archer is
He
kind of
does
strange with the rider where it
kill a
is.
monument. Could get another giant
Rush can
eventually.
get another giant because he's got a killer monument?
He has a killer monument.
Okay.
Or would he
How
the
did
giant?
Domino give him that many kills?
2 pots, 2 lumber huts, and a monument gets him another giant.
I mean, like, my head starts, like, like, 2 ports, 2 lumber huts, monument, like, giant. I mean, that is what he has to work with. That was pretty nice of Dazo, actually. He changed his Giants push order by getting that attack in. So instead of getting pushed to the west in between the two Giants, gets pushed south where he's going to be able to take less damage. But yeah, no, Rush has decided, like, there's not a play for any of the other villages. Like, I can take one city maybe, and there's emphasis on maybe,
He has
but
1 win condition. He's gonna go for it. Just
yeah,
fair. He's gonna
it's
those
not
siege
winning.
though. So he's gonna. Mm.
He's dodging the capital, which Vouchful called that something recently. I forgot. His 1 win condition or something.
Now he has
What is
0.
this rider doing here?
Just not vouchful odds here around.
After giving up that Grand Bazaar monument, did he just spend the time to calculate if the 3F goes the defense boosted 5 health archer? In the VC chat, that's a little funny. But no, it looks like he just picked up his own killer monument. He's also still got his Eye of God. Still running down that clock every turn. And placing it in the
Yeah.
perfect sawmill spot instead of just chopping the forest east of the city. Not that I'd say it
But
matters. As soon as Rush gave up the ability to, run after Daza's capital, I don't think he had much of a chance.
I mean, the question is also, I think really to stop him, he just could have given up Kohli. Like his rider was at it just now. He captures it, and he just needs to stop that. Yeah, seems like it's over.
Even if he got Coley, like gets like
Let's see what
forestry and
Reds have.
spams a trillion giants from everywhere, 5 cities to two. I think when Rush lost uh or like I don't know what they were doing, what tactics were going on that he ended up with a city. Daza had to siege separated from them like that. But it seems like as Daza just cleaned up a game that he'd already finished by the time we were joining.
Yeah. Let's hop over to watch Reds and Yeti, which is another exciting game.
Oh my god, this should be grand finals. Everyone's deafened, right? It's echoing.
Yes, they're both
Which one
deafened.
of you?
It seems like a relatively even map. Maybe a bit more farms for Red, but that's
So
a great
Yeti's
Cap 5 capital.
Yeti picks up the first giant up in the north. Park Fortune's certainly good. It's difficult to see. Uh, well, it's not really too hard to see Rats' paths to giant. Roads farming, like you can pick up org or hunting, go into construction. All the usual is the bossy stuff. It is hard though to see, you know, what turn he's going to pick it up on, and he's really hoping, I think, for a good ruin here.
Yeah.
Uh, the sooner
It's also
that,
interesting his timing, which is always fun. Sure, something interesting has happened
yeah,
with it. Oh, that's
ooh,
great for him.
yeah, picks up stars. That's very good for him. I mean, the big thing I'm looking out for here is there's the one village in the center of the map that's still been unclaimed. Both players with a veteran swordsman. Well, that's I don't know why I find that so funny, but something about both of them having a veteran swordsman as far back as they do. Turns like these chuckle inducing for sure. But yeah, rats. With the city in the center being unclaimed as it is, rats I'm sure would love to get his own giant up, start pushing towards it, because if Yeti is able to put his own giant in that middle city and swing that balance in his favor, 4 cities to rats is free. Uh, Absolute advantage that he can pull from getting his giant just a little bit earlier than rats did. And I thought rats was going to go all in for like border growth or something, but not too interested in it. I assume like still Orger hunting. He's got the farm with the border growth. He can pick up another population with the road to the South City. I'm assuming Org just looks like it's going to be cheaper. The sooner he gets his capital giant, the sooner he uses his Park of Fortune for another giant in Mosim, maybe. But I mean, still expensive. Still a couple turns out for him, unless it does seem like it's a position where they've been doing a lot of fighting throughout the game. So I'm wondering how close Rats is on his killer monument. Vouchful for comment.
Sorry, I was dealing with other things.
How close do you think Rats is on his killer monument on turn 10 in a position with this many riders?
I see he's been like sneaking off kills here and there. like getting sieges of Wazuzu and just hitting things. Maybe like 4 or 5.
Yeah, still an
Not gonna be
awfully
way
long
too
way
many
off.
units for them to have been actually trading.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, getting the giant on the center of city is gonna be very impactful.
I mean, at this point of this many riders, uh,
I mean, even if he trades them all in, I think that still gives a decent advantage.
yeah, he does not give Yet like not giving the Yeti the city is fine. Yeti will take that because he's like, you have no units anymore. Um, Although at that point, Rats will be having his own giants, and I think big thing there is that Rats' giants are plural, whereas Yeti's is singular here. Rat as soon as Rats gets the first giant, he has another giant coming up pretty easily in the South City. Uh, Variety of ways. Some easier than others, but yeah, with the way
I
Yeti's
mean,
been pushing here, um, we may only be 2 or 3 turns away from a killer monument. Though it definitely didn't seem like it was a big factor earlier on. And he's only really picked up 2 kills this turn. Could go ahead and put his swordsman up in the north. Ooh. Ah. Yeah, he's gonna keep his swordsman where it is and say, you don't have roads. I'm sure Yeti's like looking into roads though. Yeah, Park of Fortune immediately on that South City. Okay, but for border growth, this was what I was looking at as one of the just slower ways to get a giant. I mean, maybe not slower. Maybe it's going to come out on turn 12 anyways, but it definitely will be more expensive. Rats is okay with that. Yeti hasn't been making a push for that center city, so Rats might even start here. He can trade his one giant for most of Yeti's riders, and then with his second giant, he can actually take the middle village, or at least fight for it with Yeti's giant. Uh, Big question I have for Rats here is capital safety with the units advancing in. He's losing some of his bulkier units. The swordsman's going to go down this turn, looks like. While uh, Yeti's veteran swordsman goes ahead and takes its place. That's a real bone in the throat for Rats. They started
Leafy
trading
is
down
getting a
units.
lot of kills, but we haven't seen the killer monument from Yeti either. So
I think Rats' positioning last turn, it felt aggressive anyways. It felt like he was taunting Yeti for not having roads when roads very much uh, possible for him.
maybe I overestimated how many kills Reds had. Because I think we've seen like 8 kills already.
I think we've only seen like 5 or 6. He just killed 3 units this turn and 3 on the last turn.
Mm.
Yeah. To make sure this veteran swordsman dies, train some more units around his capital. I mean, Rats is pop capped there. But yeah, what he definitely, I think, wanted to do was move his giant 2 tiles east if he was advancing it towards the center. Yeah, this like east northeast is like nowhere near the village. which is where I think he wanted it around Yeti's giant.
If you're
Kind of blocked
Yeti, will you
himself.
hit Red's giant right now?
Uh, he can hit the giant. He can just advance towards the middle village. I mean, he just will capture it. Yeah, Rats is quicker on the second giant. And I'm wondering, yeah, reevaluating border growth once again. What did Rats get out of the border growth on that city? It didn't cost him too much in that he was only able to, he, yeah, not going for the village, just
Is
trying to
there
chip
a
away
cap
at Rats'
siege here?
giant.
There is a cap siege here, right? With 2 roads. 2 roads, then the rider hits the 5 health wall and bounces on cap. That would be quite cool if he finds that.
Oh, with 2 roads. Which rider?
That rider he just moved, so he just missed it.
Was
That
there
rider could have
a
bullet through the village, hits the 5 health warrior and jumps on cap. I guess any warrior
was
that
there
can
a
kill the
road
5
north of Wazuzu
3 roads,
already?
sorry. These are three
Oh, okay.
roads. Probably not that worth it.
I'm yeah, maybe Rats is just looking at get his killer monument for another giant on Mozim, or he's looking at construction. He's just trying to take away tiles from the center city. Already given up on capturing it. I mean, he took away a pretty useless field tile with that south border grove. Looking at hunting and forest, I'm not really sure. How many? Yeah, because that's he's at 8 kills now, I think, that we've seen them get since turn 10. So they really not exchange like more than a single, like Rats didn't gain a single kill until then. It might even be at 9 that we've seen so far. Unless he already had his killer monument since we've joined and just hasn't placed it. Which I think that's much harder to believe. That he could have even gotten that many kills that early. Let alone just not placing it. Yeah, he felt frozen there for a second. Yeah, yet he's not interested in going for the center village. Um,
And that makes a lot of
one,
sense because the
yeah,
second giant would sit beside it, and then
one on a long line of cities that do not prepare him for Rats is giant number 2. That makes it sound like Rats is gonna do something to him. Like defecate all over him. Whoops. Now we're seeing this crazy chain that Yeti Peaks leaves, but Rats didn't have the foresight to, just train 5 knights, so unfortunate. Happens to the best of us. But yeah, Yeti, first one to actually pick up that killer monument, pick up his second giant over there. Or maybe not, maybe it was just to get level 4 on that city. I'm not really sure what happened there. Or what the population situation is on Wazuzu. But yeah, that looks like Rats must not have had a single kill. I'm pretty sure if I'm counting correctly, we just saw um, that like as soon as he got his killer monument, it was the 10th kill we've seen him get since we arrived. So I'm very interested to see what the first like 8 turns of this game looked like that ended up with them both having so many riders placed the ways
and
they did. Yeah, just moving everything basically around the capital. As long as it's out of range of that warrior on Wazuzu. seems to be the general idea. So I'm wondering, is it going to be 2 farms, killer monument, giant here? So I guess this was the idea behind Border Grove. Did not slow down the giant. It only cost him 1 unit on his southwest city for 1 turn. And now he has his third giant of the game. Uh, right now, keep track, score. 2 giants are better than none. Yet he's really struggling to deal with this giant in the center of the board. It goes into construction. All right. Is he any hurting for stars? I need to check this. Yeah, it finishes that turn with exactly 0 stars left. Yeah, remarkably similar economies. Rats is just 1 star up despite having an extra level 5 city over Yeti. Well, everything else is equal except for the level 5 capital and the level 4 southeast city that Yeti has. Yeah, Rats is one of the things that very nice to see in Rats' gameplay is how patient he can be with his veteran riders or his riders at 2 out of 3 kills. He doesn't need to get that 3rd kill yet. He doesn't need to promote that unit yet. He's just confident, like, I've protected it well enough. He's gonna be a-okay. As he, I mean, in spirit for Zabas, he just keeps farming those kills. And needs to reset up all of those roads. Uh, Funny that like the road connection didn't update until after Yeti started placing down some roads. But it gives back those connections, and with the connections finally set up, the Wazuzu Giant is here. Rats is actually the one, opposite of what I was expecting earlier on, who's able to pick up this giant. And Rats is also looking like he's going to be the one to pick up a nasty cap siege. I'm seeing, yeah, 3 roads northeast of Boson, north of that, northeast there. The 2 riders on the capital and east of Rats' capital. Yeah, it gets a veteran siege too. I mean, it's like working at zone of control, but I mean the thing is, the zone of control. Oh, not going after the cap siege. I mean, I'm shocked. Like that would have been game over. Like he would have had what, just 2 riders left and a veteran on the capital. Uh, and especially after we just saw that construction giant come out, I'm not sure where the population for another giant push was supposed to come from. But not like a critical error or anything. I mean, Rats is still just surrounding Yeti's capital of riders here.
I mean, it's just like a mate in 3 rather than mate in 1. It just going.
Yeah. Guess he has to be worried about this giant walking in towards his own capital, but it looks like he's got plenty of population and time to pick it up. Can we ask Yeti, maybe when the game is done, about what the significance is of 1544? Is that like the year he was born?
Sure.
Is that like the part of his address. Not really sure. Yeah, Eddie's trying to like not going for a cap siege, just trying to take out the center city, return some kind of balance. But he's going to be losing with Zuzu here. And then with this giant pushing north, probably losing Zazim as well. And Rats honestly has enough to just spam riders to finish off. He could use his monument in that middle city to pick up a wall, and then uh, looks. It seems as if he has enough to zone of control. Not quite. If he can use the warrior and rider to clear a warrior north of Zua. So yeah, wall is not going to be an effective defense, but it's just spamming riders into the giant there. This seems like it would work. And yet he recognizes the situation, ends up resigning. Well, what a game.
GG.
So Ave has just started right now, or at least 3 minutes ago. Have to go check that out. Boots, are you able to hop on the microphone? What up with the low polygons around the enemy's capital that I'm witnessing right now? I'm not sure what to make. I've never seen this before. So Ave seems per choice here for sure. Having a strong center. I say strong, but it's not super solid at the moment, I suppose. Got Rain up against Ave. Yeah, circling that warrior, going to see exactly where it ends up in the fog. South a bit. Onto a village. Unfortunately, that's just not going to hold if the riders Ave has around. Uh, as like these two villages are pushed way back in the corner and they're a little split up as well. Yeah, the rider on the capital I can't understand. I think we're going to witness Ave just win right here. You know, for this
Ave
capital
sweep.
siege.
Ave sweeps. I want to take a bit of a look at how my not out was doing, and he's not doing well. So depression
Ah,
hours.
well, after that game against Rat, that's surprising. So yeah, even if the enemy is able to unsiege, surely they're overloaded and cannot deal with the 5 health rider on the village in the southeast or the ruin. But I don't
I
think
don't
they
think
can do anything at all. I think the game is
road.
over here on turn 6, no less. Yeah, they're just kind of staring in the position, perhaps unable to detect where the resign button is. Who's to say? I think though, it's time for a little break.
Good job. To a
Coachful, who's playing now?
no one.
Why?
Let's see. Who's up next? So Rex wins. Which is a win. And then so we have Ave versus Dazzle.
Well, let's get Dazo in here. Dazo, Ave, facing off in the square. Polytopia, streaming. We're so back.
I think Ave is the favorite here, by the way. That's just my personal opinion.
What's your personal opinion?
That Ave sweeps.
Oh my god, it's Imperious. Mouse per choice on the stream. It's like Dazo actually has resources, which is wonderful to see. You'd love to see it.
How many foods does he have?
The same as Ave.
Okay.
3 fruits. But
Ave
I'm talking
avoids
about the out of borders. You see 4 fruits with just 4 field tiles.
You can see Ave score counting.
I mean, the big thing for Ave is has resources, has villages looks like, but also has a bunch of mountains and
The
terrain
maybe has
that's
a run.
annoying
So
to
unfortunate.
get around for sure.
He chooses to hit.
No. It was like seeing how Ave deals with it. Probably does not capture the village.
No, he captures and trains a rider, no? Surely?
We don't know. I'm not guessing what the correct play is. I'm guessing what Ave's play is.
Ooh, that changes things.
If
What
it
is it?
was just capture train rider, that's something I would expect immediately. And that we're not seeing a capture. is indicating to me something different is being planned. All right, perfect.
Cinderella. Thank you.
Forget everything I said. Looking, pick up some tech.
I like to
Solid,
see Av.
solid.
So I just did a bullet review of Ave just now. And there's this exact scenario that he's facing right now. And I'd like to see him not kill with the warrior and kill the rider instead so he can train another warrior just to increase his population and army size. That'd be really cool if he did that.
Absolutely.
We'll see whether he remembered what I said. He did not remember what I said. We just went through this an hour ago. It's fine.
Tempest training. Yeah, being pop capped, and only having population on that one capital city. Definitely not an enviable spot, but it's not one that Dawes is going to be able to capitalize on immediately. Road's just too expensive right now. But it will allow Dazo to expand out to the east, where he actually has villages. Big difference between the two players. Where Dazo expands, there are villages. Yeah, banking a full minute on the clock there. But wondering about. I mean, there's certainly some tech to be picked up at this point. Road seems nice to upgrade both cities, take advantage of the extra mobility, but no need to until capturing that new city. But it's certainly looking like we're going to see a game that is 4 villages to Dazo and 3 for Ave. And also didn't decide to heal that warrior. Pushing everything back. He's pushing himself a little far back. Uh, Enos can start getting pesky and inside his borders now, potentially. Also for Dazo, without great ways to start upgrading his capital. The population cap there is pretty high. Yeah, so bizarre mix of pulling units back in one direction, then putting forward in the other.
Wait,
If
Road's
all of them
fine.
had gone forward, or if he'd had enough to, overload some of these units, um,
And his
he just
resource up
keeps
here.
attacking. As it is, all that really happens is this warrior dies. Probably should just pull it back. Trying to prevent a siege here, maybe, but doesn't seem like a siege was all too likely in the first place. So he does go ahead, pick up that explorer, and upgrade on capital of roads. Or yes, last turn. I think it might be time even to highlight another thing. I'm sure Dazo picks up roads here. There's nothing really else he can do. I mean, there's no other sensible way. Why is he looking at advancing his warrior? They killed again, bud. Just walk it back. Put it east, not south. East, east. Yeah, south where it is, where the roads are, where your opponent's got the riders. Definitely getting killed. Whoa. What am I witnessing? A little transition there with the roads going onto the ruin. A little more precarious for sure. Especially seeing your opponent pick up roads of their own having the riders that they do. But Dazo's still fine. The mountains are doing a great job protecting him. Had they not, it's very possible we would have seen a couple roads get placed, connect that last city to the capital, kick Dazo off that village, and then use the um, five, two 5 health units and the full health warrior to pick up a siege on Lolas, stepping on both cities. But because of the mountains being there, there's just not enough stars for such a play. So Ave is not able to do that, and instead just picks up the easy kill. Um, ooh,
You can siege, no?
yeah, going for this siege. 2 sacrifice units to pick up that siege. I was, yeah, kind of worried about um, the one
You're
unit
still
progressing to veteran. Yeah, an explorer rune's not the best, but yeah, it does not help him out with the lighthouse at all. Yeah, so Daz is a big problem here. And
it's
we should see
unsiegeable.
it.
Just needs to. Mm.
His big problem is that this Musla warrior did not come at all. And because he captures like that, uh, he's not going to be able to upgrade his capital and actually train another unit on the next turn.
Mm.
Would have been able to anyways. I'm looking at the stars now. He's got to place a road northeast of his capital so that the rider can go hit the warrior there. Does not find it. Loses the middle village.
It's a great siege wave.
And this is one of the big things about why making his position so much more tenuous. Running over for the ruin. The ruin didn't give anything good, by the way. A ruin's always a gamble. Never know what you're going to get exactly. In this case, it gave nothing useful, but it gives up a turn on that village. And what is the turn on the city Muslo? Well, another unit that he could train. A little bit more income as well. Just a couple extra stars. Also, his rider that would have captured that city would have been from his capital, meaning he wouldn't. So one play, a lot of consequences. But I don't see. I mean, before it seemed like Dazo was definitely per choice, but now I don't see a way that he brings it back together. He can pick up a kill on this warrior and like train a couple units of his own. But the situation he's facing is that he has a couple of level 1 cities next to no income. What was the other road doing in that? Oh, he's just connecting it and then resigning. Yeah, I don't blame him for resigning. Well, he tried to resign, but he wasn't able to. Now we're still watching the game. So what's going to happen is a rider just goes into the capital and sieges, and there's no breaking it. Yeah, just siege everywhere. Does he have enough stars for another road? I was just gonna go ahead and well, he would have been able to kill and siege, but not like this.
A bit of a troll. Try him for it later. It's fine.
So who's the next game after this?
It should be Yeti versus Ave, and then the winner fights the Red. Yep.
All right, so the Tempest Clash. We've seen Yeti and Ave face off a few times today. It's never ended well for Ave. That's just chilling in VC defend. My goodness, Yeti Peak streaming. Abe's streaming soon? Question mark.
He is streaming.
Ave is not streaming. Soon is now. Both mobile streamers. Ooh, they're not gonna fill up the whole screen, guys. Are we gonna be okay with this? Giddy Peaks host has some resources.
There's
Okay. I mean, they both have, some resources. One has a lighthouse spawn. Yeah, I mean, Yeti's thing is that it's kind of a lack of good resource indicators telling him, hey, there's a village here. What is Yeti's? Yeah, the single animal outside border growth range on a Hoodrick city actually leads to an animal for the first time in any Hoodrick game, perhaps ever. Yeah, very nice thing about early meetups as Hoodrick. Those 3 stars are exactly another archer, so I'm sure Yeti Peaks is fine with uh, the trades they have going on. I'll keep you off the center. Uh, I have my own village over here. We should be fine. Yo, hey, what happened? Unfortunately, that tile I think Yeti wants to go to more than any other in the whole world, that northwest tile of the capital to get the kill. Blocked by a mountain. So surely feels pretty aggressive to get those units, but with the lighthouse being where it is, just pick up a workshop on the next turn. That's okay. In terms of grabbing lighthouses, phenomenal explorer, top 1%. It even shows off a little ruin southwest of that city, and then says, this is their second city's borders, figure out the rest. In terms of, getting, detailed tactical information about where exactly the opponent is, and not as much. But I'm sure Yeti will take this any day. So I'm imagining the warrior walks back for a lighthouse. We see a workshop, maybe an explorer if Ave is, you know, a little nutty. Then an archer. Archer where? Not really sure. Okay, doesn't go for capital upgrade another turn. Just marches the warrior straight in. I think we're going to reach an impasse at the point where Ave just cannot train any more units because being pop capped on every single city. What's the warrior accomplishing that was so important it needed to delay a workshop for uh, two, maybe even three turns? Yeah, now that it's literally impossible train units without getting that upgrade. We see that upgrade come out in capital, and I guess that's the explanation for the warrior. Delayed the capital by three turns, but now, uh, yeah, there was no retaliation damage earlier since it was in the fog, so the warrior's gonna have to stick around outside those borders and keeps the two-hoof archer alive. Yeah, the archers are trying to get aggressive, a little frisky, perhaps. Archer and workshop explorer. I think the explorer's crazy work. This was always a possibility, but it ends up working out. Grabs the lighthouse, shows, hey, here are some ruins, and then says, all right, if you want to kill their archers, I gave you some vision. Maybe not as much vision as you'd have liked if you're Ave right now, but solely enough vision that you're feeling fine. Is this the revenge match to end all the revenge matches? Because Ave is up a city right now. Uh, Ave is the one pushing for advantage in the game. Yeah, we're just gonna see Ave. Yep, just step on that village. You cannot clear a veteran and um this two health one archer off both of these cities. I will capture at least one of them. They're gonna go ahead get some more units. I'm not sure if just treating those ruins as a distraction. Like I'm never going to get these. I'm focused on applying more pressure. And in the meantime, Yeti Peak's not having a good time. Just straight up not having a good time. Um, Went from being down one city to being down to half as many cities as the opponent, and that seems like it's going to increase. I mean, if anyone is going to be the one to grab that city up in the northwest, definitely Ave. You might see a couple of chops after this forestry pickup. Yeah, I mean, A went into forestry, Yeti Peaks went into organization. That's kind of all I need to say. I wonder if we're going to see another explorer on this center city. Sure, it would pick up a lot of useful information. I'm sure that Ava is at least, capturing the city, giving some thought to training units. Yeah, all those chops were just for training some more archers. Going to wait another turn to actually pick up and explore on the center city. See, if I'm Yeti Peaks, I'm thinking these ruins are my only hope. Of course, I see the, two ruins that Ave has and not feeling happy about those at all. For their part, Ave not feeling too great about that ruin result, just kind of pauses on the screen for a hot second. An unwanted tech, it appears. So I've been trading units for a while now. I think we're about um, 2 to 4 turns from seeing a killer monument if they continue these kinds of exchanges. Maybe it wasn't an unwanted monument tech. It looks like it was mathematics because I don't see how Ava 4 did that a different way. Not just mathematics. Look at these sawmill spots. Southwest of the capital, southeast of the second city, northwest. I'm sure the market players are saying, no, 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 you got to go this place so that you get the overlapping market spots. I guess we're seeing a little market spot develop there west of the capital. But yeah, for sure, I it's difficult to see what Yeti does to make this position survivable. I'm going to see Abe pick up the giant this turn. Well, could go for border growth as well. No, just going straight for it. Wonder where the Park of Fortune's going to end up. Go or get rid of the population cap there. Yeah, keep the market spot southwest. Vouch for, are you still here? Is this what you train everyone on Tempest to do? Just look out for the market spots constantly? Even in a game such as this? I'm gonna take that silence as a yes. This is a clash of the two Tempest here. Whoops. New tech, did not see what it was. But Yeti still got some fight. They're maybe not. Yeti Peaks resigns. So instead of seeing a repeat match, we're going to see Ave take on Rats in the grand, not so grand, just regular bracket finals. Rats is here. We should get started. Yeah, but he's cursing his mountains in the chat. I can't blame him. So these used to be teammates. Rats had been a member of the Tempest for a second, but returned to his host team, the Wildfire, after the season loan expired. So, another grand finals, another red versus blue match. Rats being red on the Wildfire versus the Tempest's blue. Now, I have a question. If I look at Ave's roles, I will see that Bullet Champion is not on there. This may be Ave's first Bullet Championship if they're able to take down Rats. Rats, of course, coming from the winners bracket, as he does often. So,
Definitely one of the hardest, or probably one of the hardest finals that you could face to get their role.
no, for sure.
It was really close to it in the last one too. If he didn't lose to it, that Nova, but he lost, so his second chance goes through Rats.
And in a competition between this and GMT to see which is going to be the shortest bullet stream today, getting real close. It's only been not even 2 hours so far. What are all these faces doing here? So 2 lighthouse spawns, both sides. Yeah, Rat's playing economically. You love to see it. Uh, you'll see this from more experienced players who like to play cautiously, um, economically. They want to get a playable position, and then they trust themselves to find the right moves later on. They might not be as aggressive early on, but it's about consistency. Trying to eliminate as much bad luck from the equation as they can. Here, Rat's looking at climbing, knowing that 100% metal rate inside city borders as Vengear, and even technically over a 100% rate. Yeah, so Vengear's got some interesting interactions. Looking over at the damage again. They're going to ahead and pick up an archer. So, Ov can capture the city in the center, but should they? They will get it sieged immediately. And Rats here knows that he's a-okay in the resulting position. Walks his damaged warrior down to the city so long as it isn't killed. We know that Ave does not have units in range. Rats does not. We see that the city Rats will be sieging is Zasimp. So I'm imagining we're going to see mining from Rats, able to upgrade that middle city to level 2 of that, as well as getting his capital upgraded. Probably pick up another archer on his capital for this turn. Is he going to advance his archer to where it might get killed by a swordsman coming from the fog? No, because he drops it on a forest tile that offers him a defense bonus. This is kind of funny, actually, looking at his third city down there with no mountains after he spent the stars on climbing and mining. Just a ton of forests. No animals, even. We're going to see an explorer from Rats here. He was moving with a little bit of trepidation earlier on. And now that he's got vision, I mean, one, the lighthouse is just phenomenal for him for making that lighthouse any cheaper. But second, grabs vision on all of these cities, and we're left wondering, where is Ave's swordsman? Surely Ave had more than one swordsman. What captured that second city there? Why didn't it continue all the way into the east? Rats is going to be a little late on picking up the um, ruin over there in the west. If and only if, the swordsman moves over to discover that, and tandem with it can team up with the archer, keep Rats away from the ruin. But if we see the swordsman move something like south onto the mountain, which would require of it to have climbing, uh, that's the only real way I see that Rat's going to be safe to actually advance towards that northwestern ruin. I mean, if the ruin weren't... And there we go, climbing. Yeah, there's just it all worked out. Rats grabs a ruin. He steals a ruin, really. He just needs to have, yeah. He's not really scared of getting sieged ever. Like, he has the units to deal with it. He's standing on 2 ruins at the moment. An explorer in the south would honestly be fantastic. It's uh, like there's no way it doesn't get him both the remaining lighthouses. So add that to the usual stars and population that you would love to see. Okay, a swordsman pushing the archer into his opponent's capital. Phenomenal, of course. We're just going to see him pick up, yeah, forestry here. Chop 10 stars in on the capital for a giant. Of course, allows him to chop on Hexus 2. Get a forge upgrade there. Very bizarre that Hexus is a Vengir city name, not Cymanti. But it's what it's. Yeah, so Rats is not too concerned about picking up his um, monument for his capital. Now, Ave spectacularly hid the swordsman in the fog there. Like, I knew it existed. I was highlighting why it existed and what captured the second city earlier. But even I was beginning to doubt its existence after a while. I was a little saddened, I must admit, to not see Hexes pick up an explorer to, get a monument immediately. The 2 population on the capital kind of negligible considering the forge situation for Giant there. But still not completely nothing. The big thing about getting those 2 lighthouses, absolute monument. Just dump a couple monuments on that center city, pick up some giants there, cash in. We don't even need to see any of that stuff though. Ave understands the situation. Not looking forward to I mean, even this game was not really winnable at this point, and even if it were, the psychological damage of knowing that you have to face rats in a round 2 proved too much. So Rats wins both the GMT and SGT brackets, the only 2 brackets that he actually participated in. Should not be too surprising to us by this point. And Rats is going over the game. I wonder if Rats would venture to discuss it with us, to undeafen and yap with us about it. He's going over it in the chat. If you want to read some of the chats from these bullet champion players, just talk to them yourself. Slide in their DMs, learn the game better. You can. There's a link in the description to join the Discord. We're friendly. Not all of us bite. Most of us don't bite, even. Join a team. Play some bullet tournaments. Chat with rats. Have pugs chastise and lambast you for absolutely no reason. It's all part of the fun of joining Poly Champions. That's just trying to illustrate stuff, but without speaking. He's looking at the forge spots that Ave has access to. 2 level 3 forge spots between those first 2 cities. Ave did have climbing, so must have seen, well, even without knowing
Yeah, I should have gone
that.
for climb instead of archery or something. That was a mistake. I think so. I mean, I could have gotten like pretty easy giants and that kind of stuff with it.
The problem with this open is simply that you are way too behind in economy. Unless you get something out of this open, I mean, you know, like the second swordsman. It's like if you have a fight, if you meet like turn 2 about a village and the other guy got a warrior second and you got double swordsman, that's when you can shine with it open. But if you don't face that, and let's be honest, I play first here, you play first here. So I see that you open double swordsman. Why does it not update? Okay, so I see you open double swordsman with the score. So I see we have both had lighthouse spawn. I skip turn 0. You train a swordsman. I can see this. So I know, well, you trained double swordsman. All I did was literally just take the corner, upgrade workshop, and now I'm 2 stars ahead because I'm host. I'm 2 stars ahead here because I have a workshop and you don't. I'm another 2 stars ahead here because you have a workshop and don't. And I'm another 1 star ahead because I have a workshop and you have only a next and second city. Right? Because, you know, that's +1 income, but my workshop does +2 income. And that's like 6, 7 stars, whatever. Like, I don't know, it was turn 4, 3, 2, 1. So it's like 9 stars with the host advantage I have, And then for my POV, I pick up, before my first capture, which is your city, I pick up hunting, I pick up archery, I pick up climbing, I pick up mining. I have all the tech I need to pop my giant cap, a giant in my capital, without forestry. If I take forestry, I have a giant in my capital. I can chop this and get a giant. And I have all the tech already, before I even claim a city, because I have a workshop this early, producing the stars, to be able to get all the tech a bit cheaper than you can. That's the reason I have archery this early already. For this open, if I don't delay my... Like, the only reason this works out so well is because Wenger is such a slow tribe, where if you expand quickly and you pick up a lot of cities, you ain't upgrading any of these cities, so it's gonna take quite a bit of time until you have the income from all those cities to be able to grab another tech, to upgrade them slowly. And I just took a workshop, get 4 stars per turn, and pick up all the tech I need before I claim my first city. Because of the lighthouse, which is a very niche open here. I agree it's also a bit risky from my side, but it had done me good in bullets, because especially in those slow playing tribes, it works out really nicely. I also did that in the Shin, I believe. Did I? Yeah, I did that on Shin as well. I just went that open because it allows me to go archery immediately, which obviously I'm in a position where I have to take over a city from my opponent. But because I have archery and they're playing Shin, we're both playing Shin, we don't really have units to train. So they end up not being able to defend it. It's a risky open, but...
Final impression, archers on tiny maps are actually good?
Oh yeah, of course. Unironically, on Wenger, not even that good. Because on Wenger, if you don't have really... On Wenger, if you have a lot of swordsmen running around, and you have like... You just got archery, and you train like 1 or 2 archers, they don't do anything. Because a swordsman will just like face tank 1, and then will just like shred your archer. Even if it is on low HP itself. Like you've seen here when I didn't train a city in the front because I didn't want to chop this forest, and neither this forest because there was an animal on it. I didn't train a warrior up front. Here, a 5 HP swordsman still shreds an archer, like you can see here when you attacked. That guy's 5 HP. and still does 7 damage. So unless you have enough archers, which if you don't have any tech to upgrade your cities, and your cities are all population capped, I assume they are like population capped, right? You only have so many archers that you can work with. That's like another issue on Wenger where you don't have the population for the archers early game, but because I got so much tech, I was able to upgrade my cities and shit, so it worked out.
All right, Rats, before we wrap up the stream, is there anything you want to say to the people watching at home?
Polytopia is a great game. If you wanna improve on your Polytopia journey, then you should join the Poly Champions Discord and come grind the video game. It's fun to play ladder. It's fun to play some bullet tournaments.
All right, for sure then.